Nearby the beach invaded by the clones stood two AA turrets which prevented the Republican ships from landing. Several Phase 2 clone squads hid in the vegetation, supported by light walkers. The main issue was that the turrets could only be reached via the front entrance, which was guarded well. The clones commenced the attack and approached from two sides. They hoped to divert the enemy fire in one direction so that the other squad could advance. But the Imperials managed to keep the pressure on both sides, and many clones were pinned down. Deadly snipers were a great threat to the right flanking clones, who did not have much cover to protect them. The Republican walkers kept concentrating fire on the entrance to ease the approach. Every now and then the clones managed to take out a stormtrooper, but the favor was often soon returned. The clones on the right flank tried to reach the tree line to disappear in the forest and be secure from sniper fire. All of a sudden, the Imperial walker that stood its ground started moving out of the base and took the clone infantry and walkers directly under fire. Clones who were still out in the open stood no chance, but it created an opening for some light Republican walkers on the left side to move in. The Imperials' front defense was weakened, but the ATPT still proved dangerous, so the clones called in their own walker support. As the Republican ATXT showed itself, it concentrated all fire on the ATPT. With a deafening blow, the Imperial unit was destroyed. The clones continued their approach on the Imperial side as they lost some of their light walkers. As the remains of the ATPT sank to the bottom of the lake, the ATXT proceeded to the front of the entrance. Its heavy, menacing stomps frightened the stormtroopers who found themselves locked in. The downside of only one entrance was that there was no way to escape. As the ATXT cleared most of the Imperial base, the clones gathered at the wall and entered as well. Firefights were brief as the clones took care easily of the remaining stormtroopers. When the base was clear, the clone engineers armed the AA turrets with explosives to blow them up. With these two out of the way, only one AA turret remained to be taken out. On the other side of the galaxy, plans were made by the Separatists to put the false flag attack in motion. In order for this to succeed, equipment and armor of the Imperial faction would be necessary. Grievous made a deal with the Hutt Cartel where they would be provided with scavenged Imperial equipment and armor for a certain price. Amongst the members of the Hutt Cartel was a young man by the name of Case Tyleria. Tyleria grew up on the streets of Mos Eisley and worked his way up from a petty street thief to commanding his own personal pirate group in the Hutt Cartel. The assignment to salvaged Imperial equipment sounded like a golden opportunity to make easy money and rise in rank even more. During a patrol, the sensors picked up an Imperial distress signal from a broken down ship awaiting rescue. This would prove an easy target for the pirates. The hull of the Imperial ship was quite damaged, but much of the equipment and vehicles seemed salvageable. But there was no sign of the crew. Tyleria figured they must have used the escape pods to evacuate. Just to be sure, they would take a look around to find more salvageable equipment or remaining personnel. What they did not know at the time was that they were being watched by careful eyes that were not Imperial. The pirates split up in several groups to cover more floors and rooms, unaware of the danger that lurked. The pirates stumbled upon several more vehicles that were worth salvaging. Two of the pirates found a broken door, of which a terrifying sound emerged. They were so horrified by what they saw that they never noticed the guns drawn behind their backs. With a few shots, their lives ended, without the other pirates hearing a thing. Talaria and his group arrived at a supply room where they learned the whereabouts of the Imperial crew. They all lay dead, piled up in the corner. Talaria was confused. Then loud exchanges of blaster fire sounded through the hallways of the ship. Mandalorian soldiers appeared from their hiding spots as they surprised the unsuspecting pirates. Talaria and his group hurried back, but the door they came from was shut tight and sabotaged. These Mandalorians took the Imperial ship after their previous victory and set up the distress beacon as a trap to lure other Imperial forces to them. It just happened that Talaria's crew arrived there first. Everything went according to the Mandalorians' plan. The pirates were separated, pinned down, and easily overwhelmed. When Talaria and his group arrived, it was already too late, as the Mandalorians had them surrounded. The Mandalorian in charge who set up the trap was known as Borkala. He was notorious for being cruel and ruthless, with a natural-born gift for bloodshed. He ordered Talaria and his remaining pirates to surrender, and they complied. But the cruelty of Borkala knew no bounds, as he thought that the pirates would be an excellent snack for his pet rancor he had hid inside the ship. It brought Borkala much joy as he forced Talaria to watch his crew being eaten alive, before eventually succumbing to the deadly jaws of the rancor himself.